I never wore Yeezys at the sky. Every week is fashion week for me.
The beaches of Thailand are breathtakingly beautiful, but on these beaches also lurk ghosts that are breathtakingly deadly. You must be aware of your surroundings or you will end up as the next victim. Chintana and Israel were staying with their grandparents who lived near a beach in beautiful Thailand. Thought after dinner the young woman would head down to the shore to enjoy the sunset. Israel would take Chintana by the hand and describe the beautiful colors in great detail as her younger sister was visually impaired. They'd walk along the shoreline until it was dark, then head home. It was one of these evening strolls that Chintana and Israel first met him. Since it wasn't a tourist from the island, the young ladies rarely saw other people, but that night there was another teenager sitting alone on the beach. It was already getting dark, but Israel couldn't resist heading over to say hello. As they approached him, Chintana recoiled. There was a foul odor, like overboiled cabbage. She screwed up her nose, but didn't say anything. The stranger seemed quite reluctant to answer the questions. Israel was happily firing at him. After a few minutes, Chintana tugged her sister's arm to leave as they walked away. He called out, "See you tomorrow." Chintana couldn't get a word in edgewise as her sister rambled on about their mysterious new friend. She was smitten, describing his soulful eyes and playful smile. When Israel finally took a breath, Chintana asked, "Didn't you notice the smell?" Israel was quick to suggest it must have been something in the water, but something felt off to Chintana. "We don't even know his name," she thought. The following evening, when Israel appeared, Chintana could smell the strawberry shampoo and the delicate mascara perfume. Tears filled her eyes. Israel was oblivious, her thoughts solely on the handsome stranger. That Chintana was being overly sensitive. It was clear her sister was just ignoring the stench, passion overruling her senses. The handsome teenager was resting on the beach as before, but this time he was more animated. He even tried to engage Chintana in conversation. But she just scowled. Chintana gagged, not at her sister acting like a love-sick puppy, but at the odor tuning out her sister's gushing. All of a sudden it dawned on her what the smell reminded her of the butcher's back at home, that stink of meat and blood and entrails. What was now assaulting her nostrils? She tuned back into the conversation to hear the young man suggest Israel rub his back. It seemed like such a bizarre request until it clicked. The stench of rotting entrails hanging out by the water at night. His back. "No, Israel!" screamed Chintana, realizing her horror that this was no teenager. He was a Phi Lang Klunk, a Thai spirit who befriends and beguiles strangers. It will seem to be a regular attractive human until they ask someone to scratch their back. Upon doing so, their terrifying secret will be revealed, a gaping wound right through the body festering with maggots, worms, and millipedes, but it was too late. Entranced, Israel began to rub his back when her hand plunged into an open cavity filled with decay. Fingers deep in the heaving mess of insects and viscera, she pulled away screaming, but the worms and maggots have attached to her skin, quickly destroying her flesh as they fed in an alarming speed. Chintana could only listen, frozen in shock, to the sounds of her sister being devoured by the hollow-back ghost. Their job was done. The insect minions climbed back inside the Phi Lang, long sated until their next victim came along.